everyone, it's Kurt with Axtreme-Guitar, and today, if you couldn't already tell, we're going to be going over And I Love Her by the Beatles, so stay tuned. First off, this is in standard tuning, E, A, D, G, B, E. So here is the E note to pause the video and tune yourself up. Now this could be difficult for anyone that's newer that doesn't do too many bar chords. I chose this because I like the way that the chords ring out, and it feels to me like it is more accurate. Whether that's the case or not, we'll just settle with this is my way. So we're going to start with an F sharp minor, and as you hear the lead guitar doing its, then you start strumming. So I'm going down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. And that's what I think the Beatles are doing when they play this as well. And exactly that number of strumming, and then from here we're going to go to the E major, and the exact same strumming pattern. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. And I end on that up because I'm going immediately back to the F sharp minor. Now they do that a few times before they get right into the verse. Now when they get to the verse, it's still going to be F sharp minor, but they don't go to the E at this point. When they start singing, the changes are a little bit quicker than what they were in the intro. So for the first verse, we're gonna go so it's back and forth from F sharp minor to D flat minor. Now the F sharp minor is in this E patterned bar chord, except that you're not going to have your middle finger down because it's a minor. And then you're going to go to the D flat minor, which is like an A minor, so it's an A pattern bar chord, but it's going to be flat. We have the D minor, but we're going down a half step to D flat. And we're going to go back and forth. And we're going to keep going back and forth through this progression. If you were to listen to the song closely and work with these chords, then you would be able to hear the changes most likely. But even if you didn't, then we're just going to go with what we know for the words. So the verse is going... change to an A. Now I could go A up here, and if you prefer to do that, that's fine, but I prefer going from this D flat minor to the A major right here because one, I like the way that it sounds compared to the song, and two, it's a very subtle movement. And then from here come down to the B. In some cases, some people may play it with a B7. B or B7 will work all right. And then the verse ends on the E. So how would I do that in a easier sense? Let's say we're going from this D flat minor to the A to the B. Now the B is in this E pattern as well, and so if I just take my B and slide all the way down to the E, I don't have to move any of the other fingers from their pattern that they're in. I just bring it all the way up to the E, and it's already ready to go. And so they end on that E, and then they immediately go right into verse 2, which is the exact same chords and the same feeling. The only difference is Now we're going to hear a lead guitar doing these little arpeggios. So once you have one verse for their chord progression, you basically have every verse. The only exception is that at the later half of the song, during the solo and after the solo, is that they change the key. So before we get to that part, we're going to look at the arpeggio that's being played in the second verse. So we already know, based on what we just went over for the first verse, that we're doing F sharp minor to this D flat minor. What we're going to do here next is move to the lead guitar part. And what we're going to do here is, first off, I bar along the 9th fret on the bottom 3 strings, the G, the B, and the E. And then I'm going to put my ring finger on the 11th fret of the G string, my middle finger on the 10th fret of the B string, and then my pointer finger is across the 3 strings, so it's already barring across the 9th fret of the E string. And so we're going to pick it with our 3 fingers, thumb, pointer, and middle, and just gonna go down and up. I'm gonna go. Now, if you can see that a little better, I'll bring it up a little bit closer. And what I'm doing is I try to, because I'm finger picking this way, I try to keep my hand over the top of the body of the guitar a little more. And this is what we're looking at. Hopefully you see that and get some more light in there. Now that's the order of the strings all the time. That order doesn't change even though this hand changes a little bit. So what it starts off as is and then you lift those 2 fingers off, but keep your pointer finger barred across the 3. It's the exact same picking pattern. Now, the next part of that, which is still part of that same sequence, is, so we'll start it off again as we just did. Open. Back down again. Open. This time, we're only going to put the middle finger back down in its place on the 10th fret of the B string. And then the next one is going to be keeping the index finger and the middle where it is. Pinky is on the 11th fret of the E string. Ring finger is on the 11th fret of the G string. So it might be a little tough if you, like me, have a guitar without a cutout and you have a slightly bigger hand. It's going to be a little difficult to fit in there. Same picking pattern as before, thumb, pointer, middle, pointer, thumb, and it just goes. That goes through that 2 times and then open again. So like I said, in this next section here, they have just a strum that they're going to be doing on this D flat minor. The root note is going to be on the E string of the 9th fret, and it's just a strum for the D flat minor, and then they go to the B, and then they come back to the D flat minor, and now this time, instead of going to the B, we're going to go to the G sharp minor, and then come back to that D flat minor again, to the G sharp minor, and then to the B, and the last time that they do it, they go to a B7. And so they're basically just doing this walk down on the bass line. That walk that I was just talking to you about is just the root notes that we were playing from, and that was just basically the root note of the chord. So you had the D flat minor to the G sharp minor to the B. So we've just gone through much of the first half of the song. Now we're going to look at the next section of the song. Before we get to the solo, we're going to get to the key change, because both the solo and the key change happen simultaneously. And it's without warning, it just suddenly happens. And so what is happening there? Well, we're changing from going to F sharp minor to G minor. So a G minor is just one half step up from the F sharp minor. So instead of starting on the second fret with your pointer finger barred across, we're going to start on the third fret. And it's the same strumming pattern. Basically, it really looks like the same pattern altogether. So if you can visualize the pattern that you were doing before, just visualize that, moving it up one fret, then you're just gonna go. So we have G minor, and we have D minor. So no more sharp or flats going on right there. But then we come back to, instead of playing the A, which would have been over here, we're going to have to come up one fret, so it's an A sharp. And then we go, instead of a B, we're going to, not a B sharp, there's no B sharp, it's a C. And then, instead of ending on E, again, we're going up a half step, there is no E sharp, it is F. Once the solo is done, we're going back to the verse situation, and it's going to be just like I was showing you before, the G minor to D minor, but then you have the arpeggio, which was happening here. Now you have to move that up one fret. And now we come to the solo. So we know from earlier that the solo is going to be in the key of G minor, and it's very straightforward, but there are some slides, so if you're not used to that, that's something that you'll want to practice doing here and there just to feel it out. You may overshoot your target note, and that's fine. If you're not used to sliding, just get the feel for doing it at first, and then eventually work yourself into the solo. So if we start off with the solo, we're going to start on the D string 5th fret. I do this walk up, 5, 7, and then I'll do my pinky. That's going to be on the 9th fret of the G string. And then I come back to the 7th fret with my pointer, and then slide up. And you slide up to the 10th fret on the G string. And it's just following the melody line of what they were singing before. And then again, we do that, but slightly different ending. So we do the 5, 7, 8 on the D string, pinky, just like before, on the 9th, and then you pick it one more time to slide down 2 frets to the 7th fret. We'll do it again. And this time like the first time. Now I change a little bit because here is where they end the whole thing. So if you come back to the 10th fret on the G string here, I am using my pinky. What I'm doing is a step down. So we go from 10, and we go down to the 7th fret on the same, that G string. And so you're going 10, 9 on G string, and then go to the D string, 8th fret. With my middle is what I'm using on this 8th fret. And I go to the 7th fret on the D string, and then I do it one more time. So I allow the note to ring just a little bit. As I'm letting it ring, I slide down to the 5th fret on the D string. And then they change to the A string on the 3rd fret. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but you don't have to keep your finger on the 3rd fret when you're doing it. You're just climbing up the A string from the 3rd fret, 3, 3, 5 on the A string, and then I'm just using my pinky to get to the 7th fret on the D string. And then it goes back to that 3rd fret on the A string. So that's the full solo there. Now that we've gone through each part of the song, I have recorded myself playing the song so that you can play along as well. And you can always watch it as often as you need to practice the different parts. I did abbreviate the song, so enjoy. So I hope that was a helpful tutorial on how to play the song And I Love Her by the Beatles. And you know, I'd really like to hear what you guys think about the videos. If there's anything that I'm doing that you'd like to see a little more of or anything else, let me know in the description below, or you can reach me at my email address. I always like to hear what people are interested in, as well as any kind of requests for other songs that I haven't covered yet. And as always, in the description below you can find a link to the tabs for this song. Like and subscribe to see more videos, and I will see you next time.